I'm just shaving off the rough edges from the saw marks, and I'm trying to then get this piece of chestnut down to the correct thickness for a handle. This is for a number 4 garden trug. So 2 parallel edges. I'm sort of shaving and just getting the thickness just right, or the width really. It's more the width than the thickness. And each end of the handle piece is tapered slightly, so I've just got to do that as well. Just draw the knife down in a gentle curve and it just tapers the ends. Probably can't imagine at this point, but these 2 ends will join up. They'll go around a former. The former in its simplest form, is just a piece of plywood or pine that's cut into the shape, the outline shape of the handle or the rim. So once we've shaved this down to the correct width and thickness, it's put in the steamer for 10 minutes, which makes it pliable enough to bend around this former, this wooden shape. So yeah, it's just a way of getting an even curve. We've got a set shape we want to make, and to get that to curve around nicely and evenly, you use this wooden form and this wooden shape. So I'm now, having shaved that to the correct width along that, in that plane, I've got to get this thickness right, because it needs to be shaved to a point where it will bend evenly. If you leave it thick, it won't bend, it will kink. If you get the shaving incorrect and not even all the way through, again it will kink. We're looking for a nice smooth curve as it bends around the former. So I'm now starting to just reduce the width, and also I'm also shaving it into almost a D-shaped profile. It's the way the handle will sit in your hand. You want the edges to be smooth. This section here will be the centre. It's very difficult to imagine at this point, but this will be the centre of the handle, so your hand will sit there. So if this is very angular, you'll notice that in your hand. You want it to be comfortable. So I'm just rounding off the edges into a kind of a D-shaped profile. Pull the shape through the chestnut out. Lock it onto the jig, bend it round, clamp that against my tummy and change my hands over. Left hand brings that round. I'm going to bradle a hole across the grain, like that. Take a nail, bend over the tip of the nail, and that locks it all in place. And I'm just checking the shape of the rim. It's a little bit straight in this corner, so I'm just going to bend it on the pin just to even out the shape. So
I then just tweak the shape on this little hook. Right. This chestnut is over a year old now. It's another one. So double-sided, these rim blocks.
This is for a very big trug then, in particular.
This is a number 5 trug, which is one of the most popular ones. Nails in and bend them over.
the handle and rim are made from sweet chestnut. One of the reasons we use it is that it grows abundantly around here in the coppice woodlands, but it's also very durable. Natural tannin content in the wood means that it lasts a long time, so it's not susceptible to bark beetle. It also cleaves and shaves well, and importantly steams well, so when we're kind of making the handle and rim, it goes round hopefully without cracking or splitting. You can use other woods, and in the past they've used ash, but that does seem to be more susceptible to bark beetle. from this rough sawn board, I'm going to create one of these sideboards. So the board is on edge, and the first thing I'm going to do is just smooth the edge, so I have two nice smooth parallel lines either side of the board. So nice smooth edge there. Release the jaws on the horse, flip the board round, just do this second edge, just smoothing it off. Thus. Okay. I'm now going to put this pronounced shoulder on the board, so I need to draw the knife towards me and I'm going to curve it down at the same time. Turn it round and do this end. That's enough. This board's still too thick, so if I try and flex that up, there's too much rigidity in that. I need to smooth this off and thin it down. So I can see the grains running this way, so I'm going to shave in this direction towards me. So, stripping a bit off one edge and the other edge, and then just take off the middle. Slide it up, a little bit off of that edge. Just need to look at this, need to flip that over, just work out which way the grain is running on this board, and it does change direction, so I need to kind of just, if the knife is digging in, you're working against the grain, so I need to flip this round and have it the other side of the jaws, that bit out. This side here. And each piece of wood is different, so you do have to kind of, we're looking to get a nice smooth finish to the board. But also I need to thin it out so that it will sweep up into that curve. So that end is fine, that will sweep up. We'll be putting these in water to hydrate them, to get them to bend a bit easier. This end is still too thick. And I'm happy with that. I can see that's flexing up nicely. For the larger sized trugs, they've got 7 boards. So you have a centre board, and these next two are called the second boards. So there's a pair of them, and then we have 4 side boards that bring up the 2 sides of the trug, and they're all shaped differently. So the stage the process I'm going to do now is just shaping those boards. So actually, if I tip the trug upside down, there's the centre board there. That's the first one that goes into the basket when you're constructing it. The centre board has gentle shoulders shaved. I mean, it's only just noticeable, but a very, very gentle shoulder on the 4 corners. If you divided the board into thirds, the 2 outer thirds have been shaved thin enough so that when you bend the board, it will flex up into a nice curve like that. So that's the centre board. The next 2 are the seconds. So these 2 boards here, 1, 2, the second boards. The centre and the seconds basically give you the flat bottom to the basket. The second boards have a shoulder only on one side, one edge. So there's a gentle shoulder there and a gentle shoulder there. This side is pretty much flat. And once again, it's been shaved so that it will sweep up into a nice curve like that. So it's slightly thicker in that central third, the 2 ends are shaved, and it should just kind of sweep up. And then after the seconds, 4 sideboards. They've got a much more pronounced shoulder. So looking at this one here, you've got a really, quite a deep sweeping shoulder on these ones. And again, they're shaved up either end so that they will flex up into a nice curve like that. The boards are soaked for about 10 minutes in the trough, and this helps to make them more pliable, so they'll bend into the nice kind of boat shaped profile. Pete's then brought them in from the trough onto what we call the bunging horse. We have 2 horses in here. We have the shave horse, it's one where you shave up all the material, and then the bunging horse is the one that you construct the trug and put it together. So yeah, the boards are soaked for about 10 minutes, makes them nice and pliable. And then they're bent into the right shape, nailed in place in sequence, and then the boards are trimmed off at the end using a knife. Trugs have been traditionally made in East Sussex and Kent, and I think it's probably due to the geographical location. We've got sweet chestnut grows here, and white willow grows here in abundance. So the industry sort of centres around, or historically is centred around the village of Hermonceux, and spread to Kent and West Sussex, but it's kind of shrunk back to this kind of area. So there's not very many trug makers professionally now, half a dozen, something like that. Pete here has just put the rim and handle together, which are made from sweet chestnut, and he's now placing the boards into the trug. He's just knocked the centre board in. So these are all put in using steel tacks, hammered onto an anvil, which squashes the nail down and gives you a clenched fit, makes it nice and snug and tight. And it's kind of clinker built, it's a bit like a boat.